Daniel,
I'm with you, Zach. How's it going?
fine, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
All right, so you are live on JoeTV, so let's do the introductions, but we have to do the plug first. I want to remind everybody to go to talentjoe.com right now for a free 3-month premium membership. Please enter promo code INDIE, that's INDIE, for your free 3-month premium membership and get discovered today on talentjoe.com. But today we have a very, very special guest, the overall vote getter for the adult division. In June, I give you Daniel Duke, our friend from across the pond. Daniel, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, you're very, very welcome. Again, thank you for your time this morning. Again, it is mid-afternoon to early evening, I believe, your time. Is that right?
Yeah, it is indeed. It's about 4 p.m., so it's a good time for an interview.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and start at the beginning. What made you want to start as a musician and then eventually begin your own record label?
Well, I guess that's a big question, Zach. For me, I've always grown up around music. Our parents sort of introduced us to music very young. I come from a family with like 3 siblings, and we all play music, so we all play music together and stuff. But we all grew up surrounded by good music. We used to listen to Bob Dylan and Van Morrison and David Bowie when we were kids. And then as we got older, we developed our own love for our own genres, and I went the sort of folk direction, and other people in the family went sort of the pop punk vibe. But I guess just growing up around good music was a real big inspiration. And then I think I started learning the guitar. I've been singing since I was like a kid, a tiny kid. And I started learning the guitar when I was 11 years old. So I'm 27 now, so that means I've been playing guitar for 16 years, which seems a bit crazy.
Wow.
And then I started writing songs really as soon as I started learning how to play, and I've been doing that ever since. So it just, inspiration for me comes from everywhere, and it has always come from everywhere. And I guess I'm just lucky that I've gotten to the point now where I'm doing it for a living and kind of living the dream, I suppose. The record label thing kind of grew out of a desire to help other artists, particularly younger artists, to do what I do and to learn how to do that. And basically to kind of develop the independent music scene into a place where people could make money from it and it could become sustainable. Because I'm sure a lot of the reviewers will know that people they start playing music and then they're waiting around for the big break. They're waiting for the deal, or they're waiting for the publishing thing to happen. And actually, if you know what you're doing and you have the right people behind you and around you, you can turn it into, a business or turn it into a viable kind of career path without having to wait for the big label to come along. So that's kind of why we started our own record label, Little Victories.
Right. So starting the record label, what any challenges along the way, anything that you can share? Because again, I think to your point, that may be a logical next step for especially the singers and the rappers in our audience. What can you share with them that might help them along the way?
Well, I mean, it's hard, I think doing something like this, becoming an independent musician and then developing your own sound and developing your own kind of fan base, and then all the rest that comes with that is a tough enough job. One of the reasons I set up my own label with my girlfriend and my brother was that we wanted to release our own music and give it a little bit of that stamp of authority. And it sounds funny, but it makes a huge difference even if you just say that you're associated with something, and some people will know that it's your label and some people won't. And it is difficult in the same way that it's difficult as an upcoming artist to kind of gain the respect of your peers, and that's exactly the same in the with regards to the label. We've had to develop it and brand it well, present it well, and kind of create a whole persona for the label itself, so that people would take that seriously as well as take my own music seriously. But at the same time, it has opened up a lot of doors, and it's been a great opportunity kind of to publish our own songs via our label, and to then help other people as well, which is probably one of the most important things to me. We're running our own music nights here in the UK now, and we're having lots of young independent artists come along and they play a show, they get paid, they play to a big crowd and a listening crowd, and that's part of what makes the independent scene really special, and it's something that you might not get if you were signed to a major.
Absolutely. So I've got to ask, if you had a choice, and not that you do, because obviously you don't, you're doing both, but what do you enjoy more, the singer-songwriter or the record label end? So more being the boss, the producer, or more being the singer-songwriter?
For me, I think it's probably the singer-songwriter. I live to write music and I live to play music, and I really enjoy that. The label side, there's a lot more admin, and but at the same time, I don't think there's anything I've done so far in my career, if you can call it that, at this short this early stage, that
Sure.
makes me feel as good as giving advice to somebody new and who's coming up the ranks, or putting on we just did a show last night. Actually, we had a big sellout gig at a local venue, and we got to pay everybody at the end, and it was just a really good vibe, and the artists were just really excited about what we were doing here and the kind of vibe that we're creating, and it just feels good. It feels good to be helping other people develop. It feels good to be paying other artists. It feels good, just to be supporting the scene, because I think without the support from people around me and other artists who've helped me along the way and given me a foot up, I wouldn't be able to, make music for a living, and I, certainly wouldn't be speaking to you right now, I suppose.
That's right. So now, if you were to, I guess, liken yourself to any genre, being a musician, what would you most commonly kind of categorize yourself as being, musically speaking?
I think this is a tough question. I think it's one of those ones that lots of musicians love to get asked and also hate to get asked. And I like it because it gives me a chance to kind of explain myself, because
right.
I think if people listen to my music, they might be like, oh, some interesting influences here. I think I grew up writing folk music, or sort of roots-inspired folk style music, but it's always been short, catchy songs. So it's like folk pop, I suppose, is the best description for it. The idea behind that being I write music, that best suits me, and it's basically whatever comes out of my mouth or comes out of my heart, or whatever it is you like to think.
Right.
But at the same time, I understand that there's an audience out there who want to listen to it. And, for them, I don't want them to be bored listening to a 6-minute song. And there's plenty of brilliant 6-minute songs out there, but I'm just not the guy to write those. But I want to be able to deliver my music to people in a way that they like to hear it. And, I'm very aware of the industry as well, because if you want your song to get played on the radio, it's got to be a certain length. It's got to have a certain hook. It's got to have a certain, chorus line here. So, you have to be, it sounds soulless, but it's not really, because the songs are still, crafted by me, and, they're still from the heart. They're still about real life experiences. But, at the same time, it's important to, be your own editor, or better yet, find someone who can be your editor. I'm lucky enough that my twin brother's a songwriter too, and he's my producer. So I go into the studio and I play him a song, and he goes, oh, I didn't like that bit, cut that out. Or he says, oh, I like that, but it could be this, And I think I'm very lucky in that I have a producer and an editor who can say to me, you don't need this to be 4 minutes, you need this to be 3 minutes. And it's a better song for it, and it's not like we're cutting away good stuff. And it's not like we're taking the soul or the heart out of a song, but we're just, you've got to be aware of how to sell these things as well as how to make them, particularly if you want to do what I'm doing, and try and make your living out of it for the rest of your life,
Exactly. So now we're going to have a chance for you to brag on you. Now, on your talentjoe.com profile, again, everyone go and look up Daniel on talentjoe.com. A lot of awards. And it's going to be a lot more than me looking down at a piece of paper and listing. So for those that may not be familiar with you, that might be viewing on talentjoe.com or on the Facebook side, kind of list from the songwriting competitions to, because you've racked them up. So go ahead and brag. You got to brag on yourself here. You've already won the overall June fan voting. So go ahead and list your accomplishments, please. That is pretty impressive.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, yeah, I'm lucky enough to have won sort of 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I won a songwriting competition called the International Songwriting Competition. It's a really great opportunity for young songwriters to put their songs forward to be judged by like celebrity panels, essentially. So it's lots of internationally famous artists judge the songs, and I won the folk singer song category in that with a song of mine called Borderline, and that was awesome, and it opened up a lot of doors. And then the following year, in a competition run by the same people called the Unsigned Only, I won the Unpublished prize, and I've since signed a publishing deal through that. So that was an amazing opportunity, and I'm now writing music for TV and film in America, so that's really cool.
Wow.
I was last year, so 2016, I was voted the best unsigned British male act in the UK, so that was really exciting. And it means a lot to know that there's people out there paying attention and listening, and I think that's for me part of the getting, it's lovely to get awards, and it's lovely to be able to tout your awards and brag a little bit, but it is lovely to know that there's these sites are recognizing the stuff that I'm doing and the time and the effort that I'm putting into my music and into my, just into all of it, the brand and the live performances, the recorded music, and it's lovely to get a little bit of recognition. So yeah, it's been a nice couple of years for award wins. I'm glad you noticed.
Sure, absolutely. So let's ask the question on, again, related to Joe TV. Why Talent Joe? Why did you decide to start a profile? Because, again, this audience that you're speaking to right now, some already have profiles. Obviously, they're entertainers, dancers, musicians, etc. But some may want to be discovered, obviously. So why did you, Daniel Duke, choose Talent Joe?
Well, so as a sort of upcoming artist, I get invited to a lot of these sort of platforms, and it just happened that Walter, the founder, had sent through an email with a little invite, and I thought, well, this looks really interesting, and he presented it really nicely, and I checked out the site, and I thought it looked, you see a lot of these websites and a lot of different kinds of platforms for young new artists coming up, and they're always full of opportunities, but some of them aren't as good as others, and I thought Talent Show just looked like a really good opportunity, and it looked like a well-made platform. And it looked like it had a lot going for it, and a lot of different avenues to explore. So I thought I'd sign up, and it seemed like a great, for me in the UK, some of the opportunities that exist on Talent Show aren't as useful because a lot of them are US based, but there have been a few things that have come up that were of interest. And it just looked like a nice site, and I discovered a few other artists on the site as well. So for me, it's not just for me to push my own stuff out there, but it was a great opportunity to discover some people that I hadn't heard of or had heard of but hadn't heard much about. And it's just an awesome platform, and it's growing, and I think that's what's really important about a lot of these things is, lots of them exist and you can sign up, but they seem to be doing nothing or nothing's happening on them, and it's really lovely that, first of all, the Talent Show is a growing community of artists, and they create these opportunities for people, but also that they're offering opportunities themselves, and the fact that I've won the overall talent for June, and it's brought me to you, and it's brought me, the prizes that it brings. I think that's fantastic, and it's really important that more platforms realize that it benefits everybody to reward independent musicians and independent performers and independent rappers and independent artists of all kind, photographers and everything, in order to help them develop their craft. Because without platforms like Talent Show, a lot of folks might not be able to keep doing what they're doing. So that's basically why I signed up. Right.
So you won overall June. You are now qualified for the grand prize at the end of the year of $50,000. So what would Daniel Duke do with that $50,000?
That's a big question, Zach. I think one of the first things I'd love to do with it is organize a US tour. So I'm over here in the UK and I tour all the time, and I've been to the States a few times to play for sort of private shows and things like that. But basically, it's such a huge financial cost to go over to the States and do a tour like that, that it would be a really great opportunity for me to pack the bags and bring the band. More importantly, get a tour bus and do it all the right way. And I have quite a lot of international fans over in America, just through YouTube and through Facebook and Twitter. And that's one of the cool things about being an artist, today, is that you develop an audience in places that you've never even been to. And it would be lovely to kind of spend some of that money to go there and play for those people and bring the music to them. But also at the same time, bring the music to a bunch of people who might never have heard it before. I definitely use some of it to fund the recording of a new record. We're working on an album right now, and that sort of influx of money would be really beneficial to, maybe bring people in on the project that we can afford to bring in, and things like that. But really, just investment in the career. For me, it would be such a huge thing to get that kind of money, and it could make a huge difference in kind of how far I can reach and how far I can go, not just in terms of physicality and touring, but in the PR perspective and all the rest. So I think investing it into something like a sort of world tour would be amazing. And I think it would be a really lovely, although not everybody has $50,000, a lovely sign to other independent artists that there are things that you can do, given the investment, that maybe look unreachable unless you're Taylor Swift or somebody like that.
Right. So if you can give our audience any hints, any reminders, what is up and coming for Daniel? Any new single releases? Any new albums coming up?
So I'm right in the middle of recording a new album right now. So this is going to be album number 2. We released one last year called Brother. That's available all over the place, so people can go and check it out on Spotify and iTunes and what have you. But this new record is a bigger sound, a slightly different sound. We're having a lot of fun writing the songs. We did a crowdfunding campaign for it back in kind of May, June time, and we made like £4,000. So we got all the money we needed and then some to be able to produce the record the way we want to produce it. And that is hopefully going to come out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And if there's any Talent Joe viewers who are based in the UK, we'll be doing a big UK tour then as well to promote the record. And obviously, if I win the big $50,000 prize, then we could be over right, where you are in the States, or further afield. But yeah, so you can look out for the new record, and there'll be a bunch of singles from that being released hopefully around Christmas time. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Great. So where all can our audience reach you? So between social media, obviously the talentjoe.com profile.
Yeah.
Where are you social media and internet wise?
Yeah, so you can find me on Talent Joe. There's loads of stuff on there, videos and audio files and stuff that you can check out. But as well as that, I'm on Facebook, just Daniel Duke. If you type that into Facebook, or Twitter, I am Dan Duke on Twitter. Instagram, I'm Daniel Duke. All the places you'd expect to find me. SoundCloud, you can check out the album for free on there. Or if you're a Spotify user, you can check out the album on Spotify. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on Deezer. You can get it on every store. You can get the record. So no excuses.
Well, again, Daniel, thank you very, very much for your time, and again, congratulations for the overall win back in June. Best of luck to you regarding the grand prize. Hopefully, maybe $50,000 maybe coming your way at the end of the year, and we look forward to possibly seeing you on this side of the ocean, and we definitely look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Zach. It's an absolute pleasure. So hopefully speak to you soon.
Absolutely. So again, everybody, thank you very much. This is your episode on JoeTV with Daniel Duke, our overall June winner. Remember, if you want your shot at one of the overall or perhaps monthly contests, please visit talentjoe.com. Enter your 3-month free promo code INDIE, INDIE. Again, this is Zach King, producer of JoeTV. Have a great day. Thank you, Daniel.
Cheers, Zach. Goodbye.